right, everybody, welcome back to Commish Chat, the NBHL Podcast. I'm Anthony Sanrocco, NBHL Commissioner, joined by Gianni Sanrocco, TJ Janus, as we take you through everything that's going on, and really not about what's going on anymore, about what's coming up.
Yeah.
And this will be our Tier 1 and Elite NBHL Championships preview. Fellas, how we doing?
Enjoying the nice little lull we have in the season before we're hit with complete chaos of two back-to-back championship tournaments, but enjoying the little breathing room that we have while we have it.
Yeah. I mean, the boys just got back from San Diego celebrating Gianni's bachelor, so that was very fun right before our whole chaotic adventure begins. But yeah, I think actually today's 2 weeks until we start traveling to Buffalo, so it's coming up.
Yeah, a lot of travel for the boys. Texted some San Diego Sauce guys, see if they had some pickup games we could hop in, but it didn't work out.
We saw them at the airport too, but it didn't end up being the Sauce.
I brought my whole goalie gear outfit and just didn't get to use it all weekend. It was crazy. Paid an extra like $200 for shipping.
Just rolling it around the streets of San Diego. It was crazy.
Yeah, people thought you were crazy wearing it on the beach. You look like a nut job.
It kept the sun off my back though, you know.
But yeah, so back, getting ready to travel again. Should be interesting to see how two tournaments back to back, because the one usually ruins me.
Yeah.
So having two is going to be, it could be the end.
Yeah. This is the end of the NBHL after this year. We're not going to make it.
I know. I mean, so I guess the game plan, like, I'm driving up to Buffalo on, I think the Wednesday prior, start setting up. We got all our banners in today, which is August 29th. So if you're listening to this and something's changed, August 29th, we recorded this.
Yeah.
But go start setting up and everything. We'll be there till, Monday, take everything down Monday, and then drive back to Jersey and go right to the rink and start setting up there.
Wow, I didn't even think about cleanup. Usually I'm literally toast when we're done cleaning up, sleep for hours. But now we have to drive back. Well, maybe not me.
Well, Riverworks will be a nicer cleanup for us. It's definitely less
for sure
than
less manual labor, I guess.
I think it's nice that we're doing the Buffalo weekend first, because I feel like we're kind of getting eased into it a little bit. Because I think if we had to do the larger like 5-rank tournament that we're doing in New Jersey first, and then drag our asses to Buffalo the next week, we would have died.
Yeah,
like, for real.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. I think last Milet Cup I slept a total of like 4 hours that weekend, so it's going to be 2 weeks of that. So
yeah,
I really can't wait. But so yeah, this episode will be our Tier 1 Women's Elite preview. We're going to do a separate episode for Tier 2, 3, and Women's. That'll be coming out probably the week leading up to that tournament. But before we talk about this tournament, let's talk quickly about what we just announced, our Ohio tournament, our Heat Wave event. Pretty exciting stuff. We've been talking with the Heat Wave Arena guys for a little bit, and we've figured out we're going to host a tournament with them. So we've got teams ready to go to beautiful Ohio.
Yeah, and Nasher is playing. I'm sure you know who that is. Big hockey influencer. Honestly, like, it's kind of crazy to think about. Like, I used to like watch his YouTube videos on like Hockey Ultimate Team and stuff like that as a kid. I mean, we're probably similar age, but kind of followed him all the way. So it's pretty interesting.
It'll be. They're strictly roller hockey.
Yeah.
Like their team is the Columbus Heat. They've, to my knowledge, I don't think they've ever played ball hockey.
No.
So it'll be, I don't know. We'll see how they transition, because they're good. Like, I've seen Nasher's videos. Like, he's got some hands. Like, he can play.
Oh yeah.
But seeing him without the glove.
Yeah, I'm just happy he's taking the chance into ball hockey. It's it's huge for the sport, and kind of give it a little bit of a platform, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll convert him. He'll be a full-time ball hockey guy soon enough.
He'll be a count next year, maybe.
He's going to be at North Americans Day next year.
Can you imagine? No, you got to give him credit for, being open to doing it, because, a lot of roller hockey guys are, they want to play roller hockey. They want to play ball hockey. So for him to even take the step is huge. And, we appreciate it. Should be fun. Should be interesting.
I think they have leagues starting there too for ball hockey specifically. Like, it's not just roller. I think I saw. So that's, he's going to be around the game a little bit. So
yeah. And we've got teams from, right now we've got like 7 or 8 different states that are going to be coming to this tournament. We haven't hosted one. We tried to host our Draftville tournament last year. That didn't work out. So this is our first real venture into hosting a non, NBHL Championships event. And Should be fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be cool. We'll have all the games live streamed. We'll be able to follow along on social media, have our media team there with graphics and everything. So it'll be cool. We'll show you how how the NBHL wants to do events outside of our
Yeah.
NBHL championships, and hopefully it leads to some more.
And I just saw at the rink they put up like all the ads on the boards, and it just looks so sick now.
Oh,
like
the
it
Heat
brought
Wave?
the Heat Wave
really?
arena. Like he has all his like sponsors on there. I'm just saying it looks sick.
Yeah, it's cool. Like the back, I guess, like the entrance to the rink, I guess, like the whole back glass is to the floor.
Just glass.
Yeah, it's completely glass, so it'll be cool. But all right, so NBHL Championships, if you want the full breakdown of the rules, our last episode has all of that. We go in depth in our outline and how everything works. But basically, the first weekend, September 14th, 15th, is at Buffalo Riverworks, and that'll be Tier 1 and Women's Elite. And just like what we were talking about before, all our games will be live streamed. Our socials will have all the info on what rink they'll be on, what platform you can watch the games on, but every game will be streamable. And yes, let's get into it. Let's talk about these teams in Tier 1. So Tier 1 format will be 3 games for all 8 teams that qualify. So Buffalo Tier 1, New Jersey Tier 1, Pittsburgh Tier 1, Massachusetts Tier 1. Top 2 teams qualify, winner and runner-up. All the champions, they will play the runner-ups. All the runner-ups, they will only play the champions of their individual divisions in the preliminary round. So 3 games there. And then once you hit the playoffs, that's on Sunday, they'll reseed. So prelim Saturday, 3 games, get seeded 1 to 8, and then playoffs start on Sunday. We've got a bunch of teams that are tapping into our Tier 2 call-ups rule. So basically, if a player is in your Tier 2, your like local Tier 2, so Buffalo's calling up Buffalo Tier 2, Jersey's calling up South Jersey Tier 2. If you're missing players, you're under a certain roster limit, and the player you're calling up from Tier 2 is less than the cap of the player that they're replacing, you can call up players from teams that were in Tier 2 that did not qualify for the Tier 2 NBHL Championship. So a little confusing, but there's going to be some Tier 2 guys getting their chance to play Tier 1 for the first time, which is just cool. Getting a call up to that.
They get a taste of it.
Get a taste of the biggest tournament we have of the year
2
and the
days.
biggest game.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, let's get into the teams. Let's start with the hometown, the Buffalo 716ers. So 4-time Buffalo Tier 1 champions. They beat the Rose City Royals this year. They beat the Niagara Daredevils in 2022 and 2023. Buffalo Godfathers they beat the Goodfellas, the Buffalo Goodfellas.
Say, I'm looking at this.
Yeah, and we got the Godfathers at the Chiclet Cup. That's why I'm thinking of that. In 2021. So 4 straight champions. This year they went 9-1. They lost their first game of the year to the Rose City Royals and then have not lost since. So in all of Tier 1, they lead it in goal differential at +33. They got the most total goals at 49. They're tied for the least goals allowed with 16. And they've been pretty dominant without Denny Schlegel, who's their guy.
Yeah. Kucherov.
Yeah,
Pulling the cooch.
Yeah, he is. So he played the first game of the season. Had I think it was a non-hockey related injury. He's been out since then. And he's back in shape. He's ready to go. He's, the Buffalo, hometown hero, basically.
This is what he plays for.
Yeah,
right here.
so we're excited to have Denny. And, some of these 716ers are saying it's their last tournament.
I've heard that every year.
Yeah. We'll see.
But yeah, I mean, after their first loss of the season, I think we were like, I think the tides might be shifting in Buffalo. And then, no, they didn't.
No, it did not.
Especially with Denny going down too. Like, oh, they lost the first game. They don't have Denny. Like, maybe we'll see a new champion for the first time.
Nope.
Nope.
And Charles Vacanti. So Charles ran the Grim City Reapers in Buffalo Tier 2 last year. They went to the Milet Cup for Tier 2.
Yeah.
They're the only team from Buffalo Tier 2 to win a game at the Milet Cup.
Yeah.
He kind of took over the 716ers this year, and he brought some of the top level players from that Reapers team up. And they've transitioned extremely well, like right away. GM Mastermind, Charles, I'll give you a shout out there. He's done a really good job, piecing that team together, because it's you know, the 716ers, but they've got a totally different look. Like their first year to now, their roster is there's, you know, some of the guys are the same, but there's a lot of new players that have come into the mix. So to you know, make all those changes and be as good as they are, and you know, obviously go 4 straight, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and then they get to play in front of the home crowd in Buffalo. Like, I'm expecting a lot of fans.
I mean, Buffalo, like their games during the season, there's
Yeah.
crowds. Like there is people there.
I
It's
mean, the
packed.
first Miley Cup, they had like a whole tent full of people and like kids and stuff, like jerseys. They made shirts or whatever. It was nuts.
They have chants going on at their games from the crowds. They have signs.
716.
Mascots, yeah.
Yeah, multiple mascots.
Did they
Yeah.
bring the Reapers mascot up from the Tier 2 team? Didn't they have like a guy dressed as a Grim Reaper last year?
Yeah, that was probably bad luck though, because they lost.
Yeah, true. Put that in the past.
Yeah. But yeah, they've, you know, they've got a decent, like, you know, following there, so I'm sure
Yeah.
they'll bring some people out to come watch them play. But yeah, they got, you know, they've got their full roster. They've got everybody coming, and you know, they get, you know, Riverworks is mostly indoors. You know, they've got, you know, it's covered, but it's outdoors. So they had the Future Stars tournament there, USA Ball Hockey's youth event, and there was some rain on one of the days, and it kind of
Made it
gets
slick.
in there, makes it a little slick. So let's hope
Yep.
that doesn't happen. But 716ers are definitely a team that prefers the indoor venue, and they're getting,
Yeah.
you know, I guess kind of that this time. So we'll see. You know, they got, you know, Denny returning from injury. Frank Palladino, one of their young stars, he's coming back from injury. He had a head injury in the playoffs, and he's, you know, was told he was at the rink last week. He's been ripping some clappers, and he's a stud. He just played men's A with graphics, so hopefully I get the chance to play with him soon in one of these tournaments. And yeah, well,
Yeah, they should be the most well-equipped team, man. No
Yeah.
travel, full roster.
yep, in their
We'll see.
backyard. We'll see what
Yeah.
happens. And then also coming from the Buffalo Tier 1 division, but not from Buffalo, from Canada, Niagara area, Rose City Royals. They told me they're going to be the first Canadian team to win the cup.
Wow.
Bold.
Bold statement.
Bold, but hey, I respect the confidence. They've got a great team. Like these guys they're not really new to the NBHL. Some played for the Daredevils, some play high levels in Canada. They've got a very young team, a talented team, and they won it. They you know, this is a big year for them. Last year they were Rose City Hockey Club, so they became the Royals this year.
Wow.
So big transition for them. Huge. The reason being the SoCal Royals in California had that name last year. This year they changed to the United. So
they're
Royals,
like Utah
Royals opened
Hockey
up.
Club, and now they're,
Yeah,
you know, they went for the rebrand.
They hopped
Yeah.
on it.
Was there any like bribes involved in that? Did they send them like a case of Canadian beer or something to
Yeah,
get it
it
done?
was like millions of dollars were involved. It was crazy. It was insane. So last year they had I guess it's the past 2 years, they've had a Canadian semifinal where it was the Daredevils versus the Royals. And last year the Daredevils won, and they went to the Miley Cup they went the first 2 years the
Yeah.
Daredevils were in the league. Then this year they played the Daredevils again, went to game 3. Royals won it in overtime, and they actually played at Riverworks. That was their only games of the year at Riverworks were their semifinals. So they're fired up, and their finals got a little weird. They had like these scheduling conflicts with the CBHA provincials, and they couldn't make some games. We tried to move stuff around. The finals ended up being just one game, and the 716ers, you know, won it. Whether you call it a forfeit or the 716ers won the finals 1-0, but they didn't really get to play the full best of 3 series for their finals, which, you know, unfortunate for it to go out like that. It'd be essentially a forfeit to not be able to finish those last couple games. But I think they're a little angry about that. They're pissed. They're
Yeah.
coming in hot.
Little asterisk around that. We'll see.
Yeah. So they probably feel like they got something to prove here, especially after how that went down. And they beat the 716ers in the first game of the year this year. They've beaten them in games last year. They're a Canadian team. They're right across the border. Maybe they'll bring some people down. I know they said they've got some people they're looking to have come watch some of these games and root them on too. So, get some Canadian USA rivalries.
They should also be pretty well equipped. Low travel, full roster.
Yeah, we'll have to we're doing national anthems, we'll have to teach somebody the
Wow.
Canadian national anthem.
You better start brushing up in. I think it's you.
Well, if the national anthem pans out the way we want it to do, there's these two girls that have done it from the Buffalo division. You ever watch the videos of them?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I've seen their
They're
maybe
amazing.
once.
Yeah,
They've done
they're-
like Sabres games, and like Tony was texting me about them doing the national anthem for this, so I have to like finalize all that. But I'm hoping we can get them to do it
That
because
would
they're
be
like
sick.
amazing. It's crazy how good they are. So
I forgot they were doing that, and I just went to pull up a video for, I guess, pulling a highlight or something, and I started right at the beginning, and they were doing the national anthem. I'm like, what is going on? And then I remember, like, oh my god, that's right. These are the girls from the Sabres. Like,
Yeah.
and they were great. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
they're really good. So Royals, the runner-up in Buffalo, 7-1-6ers, the champs.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see. We'll say that after every division, probably.
Yes,
So
yes.
We've never had a hometown team win it in Tier 1,
We've
so
never ended a segment without saying, we'll see what happens.
yeah, bunch of nevers there. So now we'll go to Massachusetts. Talk about the defending champs, the Leominster Stars. So last year they were the first non-Penn Hills Imperium team to win the Tier 1 Milet Cup. They beat them in the finals. They beat them 4-2. I think people will remember we posted about it multiple times now.
Yeah.
We had the most people we've ever had tune into a live stream watch that game, where Brandon Jones scored 4 goals, all 4 in a 4-2 win.
Yeah. That
It
was
was
insane
on-
to watch.
It was ridiculous. He was unstoppable. That was a weird weekend with the wet deck, but it kind of stopped raining finally for the championship game. So it was still slick, but it was, better than I guess it was leading up.
Yeah.
And Jonesy just was ripping them.
Like
It was
every
ripping.
shot was just going in.
Yeah, and they, the Stars had kind of a weird season. Like there's 4 teams in Mass Tier 1 this year. They finished in 3rd place. They matched up with the New England Scorpions in the first round, who were a new team, had some players from the Twin City Classics from the past few years and some new guys. And they lost to them a couple times, I think, during the regular season. But then playoffs, they swept them, went to the finals, had the Owls for the 2nd straight year, beat them 2-1. And, here's some quotes I'll read from players on the Stars
Okay.
that they gave me today. They said, "The crown goes through us." They said, "Come and try to take our trophy," which we do have it right here, actually. But the metaphorical trophy, no, we do not have that. We have not even won a playoff game, you and I, so we are not even close.
a Tier 1 playoff game. You've won Tier 2 playoff games, haven't you?
Tier 3.
I have
right?
no. Seattle was Tier 2.
Oh, it was
when
Tier
I
2 the
there.
first
So
year, yeah.
actually, that's right. I have. But Tier 1 teams come and try to take our trophy, and then Andrew Carter is the best goalie on the planet, and you should be tested if you think otherwise.
Wow.
So they've got some confidence in their tendy right now, which
Tested.
I mean they should. He's unbelievable. This team, they've got 5 national team players. They've got the most out of any team in the NBHL with Corey Wilson, Andrew Carter, we just mentioned, Brandon Jones, we just mentioned, Corey Fredrickson, JD Dutney. So this is a squad. This is a powerhouse. They're coming back here to win it. They've got their whole core will be there. They've had to use a couple call-ups, I think, for some players that are unable to make it. But the Stars, they're a funny group of dudes, and they want this.
Yeah, I
They
mean,
want this.
they got to defend their title in Buffalo. I can see the storylines already there with them and, the 7-1-6ers defending their own turf. So you got some storylines going into it. And I mean, there's plenty more storylines, but yeah, those guys are very good hockey players.
Not our first time to Buffalo with this group, too, because Chicklets
yeah.
Cup.
Oh, that's right. And it
That's
was
right.
at Riverworks.
That was at
wasn't it?
Riverworks,
Wow.
yeah.
So they do have some Buffalo experience.
Some parallels.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But
a little different atmosphere. But
a little different game, too, because Chicklets is 3-on-3.
Yep.
Way less pressure in Chicklets 3-on-3, though.
So the Stars coming back, ready to go. And with them from Massachusetts is the Oak Ridge Owls. 3rd time coming to the Milet Cup. We're now the NBHL Championships. 3rd time they've been here as a runner-up. They've been to the
Yeah.
final 3 times and just haven't been able to pull it together.
Yeah.
So last year we did the Tier 1 a little bit differently, where we had the 4 champions and the 4 runner-ups in different brackets. And the champions automatically made it to Sunday. The runner-ups, the top 2 made it to Sunday. The bottom 2 were eliminated. And the Owls were one of the teams that did not make it to Sunday. They were very mad at us
Yes.
about that. I get it.
Yes.
So we not have that format this year. I still stand by the idea of it. I think it made sense, but like in practice, like
I just like felt bad because they like won that game at the like their last pool game, I think, in like overtime or something. I think is it the goal where he
It's the
gets
goal where
on
he
the
does
knees,
the one that we've used,
the one
in,
that
like,
we use for
every
promos all
video.
the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was unbelievable goal.
I felt so bad. I was like, oh god. But,
Yeah, they deserved to be there Sunday last year, so I think that was like, okay, we need to do something about this. But like,
you live and you learn.
Yeah.
Well, now they
So,
get to benefit from
Al's,
the rule change
sorry.
being a second place team.
Yes. Now, yeah, exactly. You are a direct beneficiary of that rule changing this year, where you're going to make it to Sunday. And I mean, they're a squad. I mean, they haven't been able to win the finals in Massachusetts, but that doesn't really change anything. Like, this team is also nasty. Tyler Crawford's their goalie. He's been, according to some of their guys, their best player this season. Like, he's been bailing them out, making highlight reel save after highlight reel save. Between him and Andrew Carter, like the goalies in Massachusetts are just ridiculous. And even the goalies that didn't make it to this NBHL Championships are also very, very good. And, Nick Carter, their defenseman, their captain, led them in goals. He had 7 goals as a defenseman. Ridiculous. And, their entire team, like Ben Tolman is ridiculous. If you watched him play, he's so good.
Like long and fast and all that. And I mean, between Nick Carter, I mean, they got some vets on the team, of course, but I mean, coming for a third time now, they got to kind of make a statement, I feel like, here.
Yeah, I mean, like regular season, they finished in first place. Like they were in first place pretty much all year in Mass. There was a time that the Scorpions hopped ahead of them, but generally, like the Owls were in first place. They swept the Blackhawks their first round of the playoffs.
I always felt like they were like defensive heavy. Maybe that's just because I think Nick Carter, but I don't know. I feel like I'd like to see offense from them this time.
Yeah, they're great. They got a new look too. They went maroon and navy this year, as opposed to
every time I was watching the games, I'm like, what team is this? And I'm like, oh yeah, the Owls.
Yeah, I like the new color scheme. It's the same logo, but they changed the colors and it looks good.
I love the logo. If you guys didn't watch the, did we release the logo thing yet?
No, we didn't release.
Oh, no spoilers. No spoilers.
Yeah, don't talk.
You
about
leaked
that.
it. You leaked it.
Tune in later to find out why I like the Owls logo.
Good marketing ploy. I like it.
Or it might be out by the time.
Yeah, I'll probably get it.
Maybe it's a secret. Maybe it's not. Who knows?
As of August 29th, it's not. It's a secret still.
Yes.
But like this Owls team, they're equal, like same level as this Stars team. Besides, they just haven't won a championship. But like their skill level is amazing, and they're going to be, one of the best teams here. So
yeah, just looking at the points real quick of Mass Tier 1, like it's literally top 3 Stars, Fredrickson, Jones, Wilson, and then 1 Scorpion, and then you got 3 straight Owls. So
who's it?
Carter, Tolman, and Bliss.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so it's just they were the top heavy team there.
Yeah, Travis, he's the one who scored that goal that we've with the incredible slide.
It's like the Patty Kane type
amazing.
thing.
Yeah, we'll have I think we'll have 2 highlight reel, like 2 pump up videos coming out
with that,
and both have that video in it for like at least like a half-second clip.
An unreal clip.
Yeah, it's all time. And all right, let's move on to our hometown, New Jersey.
Another bird team next.
Another what?
Another bird team. The Night's Watch.
Is it?
Is that a bird?
They have a bird on their.
Oh
on
yeah,
their
I guess
logo.
it is. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really think I've like ever processed what Night's Watch means. Like, I mean, I know it's Game of Thrones, but like
allegedly,
I just think of it as a brotherhood that protect the.
Yeah, I think it's like
that protects
the castle or whatever.
Which is fitting for their team composition this year.
Yeah.
So South Jersey Night's Watch, first ever New Jersey Tier 1 championship. Mitch Stiles, their team manager, GM, did a ton in the offseason. He poached some people from new teams, brought in some new players, pulled people up from Tier 2. He really just did a lot to make this team work. And, he said to me that the key difference between this Night's Watch team and past is defense. They really upgraded their defense. They grabbed Tanner Rupert from the Caribou, who's been, a stud back there. And they're just a great squad. Like they tied for the least goals allowed in Tier 1 with only 16. Regular season, they finished in second place, but what's it called? I remember they had a weekend where they played the Caribou on Sunday night and then Monday night. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And they were both 1-0 games, I think, or one
Yeah.
was 1-0, one was 2-1.
Yeah, they both traded 1-goal games.
Yeah, and it was just like we were watching, like, yeah, this is probably what the finals is going
Right.
to be, but these, like, it could be anybody, I guess,
Yeah.
but they looked like they were playoff games, and they were awesome hockey, and getting them in the finals again was fantastic because both games were the 2 best games of the year in Jersey.
Oh my
Tier
God, they were
one.
electric.
And, so the stat I was given today, I've not verified this. I was told this by Night's Watch, so this could be completely wrong. But in the finals, they only led for a total of 4 seconds in both finals games. They trailed for 44 minutes, and they were tied for the remainder. So
Wow.
for only 4 total seconds did they lead in the finals.
Because the game 1 they win in overtime.
Yeah.
Or no, game 1 they won with 4.4 seconds left.
Yep.
And then game 2 they won in overtime.
Yep. So
Yeah, that's nuts. Yeah, I was happy for, to see them win after a few, years of being close and not fully getting there. And then, Mitch puts in some work in the off season and, they come back stronger. And those guys all care so much about the game and just, they buy in. So it's, I was happy for them to win it and they deserve it.
It's our 4th different champion in New Jersey too. We've had a new winner every single year.
oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So 2's got to be one of these next 2 years, right?
I mean, shit, we got to win something, right? Yeah, I mean, like, defenses are key is what they said, but like their offense, like they have Mike Henry, who was the most valuable forward last year, Evan Benedict, who exclusively scores goals, only scores goals, no assists for Evan, unless we go to Scotland, then he can't score, but whatever, Evan. And yeah, they're just a team that like use the cap perfectly to like have depth in every area.
Yeah.
Like they don't really have a weakness
they're
on this
deep.
team. So they don't have any national team players. They've just got a bunch of guys who know how to play. And
And a new goalie for them too, in Robbie Mangini,
Yes.
who's been who was a stud this year.
yeah, he was fantastic. So Night's Watch,
We'll see you there.
we'll see you there. First one. They all gave me shit that it's not in Jersey this year. Like, oh, the one year we make it, it's not in Jersey. Well, I'm sorry. That's just how it worked out. Like, but yeah, they'll be fun to have there. And who they beat in the finals? The Lakeland Caribou. So the Caribou finished first in the regular season, and had a very, very dramatic playoffs where they gave 3 straight 2-0 leads back to, in their game 3 versus the Dogs. They gave up 2 goals to let the Dogs force overtime, and they won it in overtime. Game 1 versus Night's Watch, they gave up a 2-goal lead and lost with 4 seconds left. Game 2 versus Night's Watch, they were up like, what was it, 3-0 early? Was it 3?
I don't know if it was 3. I think it might have been 2 and then 1, and then they win another one to go back up 3.
Maybe.
Try and
Yeah,
look.
that makes that. I
Or
think
by
that's
2,
it.
I mean.
Yeah,
I'll
but they
look.
were up 2, slowly gave back the lead, and then they, lost it in overtime. So they've had some tough collapses towards the end of this playoff run that I know they're trying to work through here. But like this team is another one that has, depth in every single area. They run a smaller roster than most teams. I'd say most teams are running, have like an 18 to 20 player roster. They ran with 16, 17 this year. Mike Malloy's their captain. He's, one of the best in the sport. And Robbie Mangini, him and Andrew Carter were the starters for the national team basically. And
Robbie Schneider.
Snyder.
what did I say?
You said Mangini.
Oh shit.
We got 2 Robbies in net in New
I was like,
Jersey.
where's
It's
this going with
confusing.
Mangini?
Yeah, Mangini. Maybe
It's like,
someday.
wow, he was on the team.
But yeah, so like Robbie Snyder, like he's huge in net, and he's just, he can snipe. He scored a goal last year.
Only goal scorer goalie in the league.
Yeah, that we know of.
Yeah, yeah, I guess. But they've like this team, like defensively, like they've had 3 of the 4 MVDs in Jersey between Joe Malillo, Luke Malloy, and now Trevor Altman this year. And
Who's the non-Caribou MVD?
Alec Myers.
Alec Myers.
Yeah. So they're going to be missing some key guys from what I understand. And it's their first time back at the Mila Cup since 2021. They made it the first year. They won their New Jersey Tier 1 championship in 2021. Was that you?
No.
Or you were on Dogs that year?
Yeah,
Oh,
that was Dogs, and then I think they lost to the Pioneers maybe in the semi or
Quarters.
Quarters.
I think.
Yeah,
Imperium.
quarters.
Imperium.
Yeah, because the
Was it
Dogs used to still make fun of them for not making the finals that year.
I swear it was in Pioneers. Maybe
No,
we lost.
Pioneers beat the Dogs.
Oh yeah, they beat us.
Yeah, they beat you.
Yeah.
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 No, but Imperium won.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
it was a 4-3
Wait,
game.
no,
I think
no, no.
it was 4-2.
Yeah,
It
I
was the
remember it was-
Pioneers, I think. Because I remember there was that big glove save that Declan had on Malloy at the end of the game.
I don't know. That might have been in prelims, but I know that they got eliminated by Imperium.
All right.
Yeah.
You probably know better than me.
Yeah, it might have been the prelim game. I'm
Sorry,
thinking of.
just
It was a very close game, and it like came down to the wire. I think.
Yeah.
Just dragging up that memory of Malloy getting glove for no reason. Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, we'll have to post that on let's get that on socials
Get a
this
little
week.
real.
Rehash that. Speaking of Imperium, we'll transition to Pittsburgh here. So Pittsburgh teams, kind of like Massachusetts, play on the smaller rink. And, both teams that made it, the McKeesport Aces and the Northside Renegades, are products of the Pittsburgh Gods, where, anyone knows like men's A-ball hockey, Pittsburgh Gods and Penn Hills Arsenal are the two of probably the biggest rivals in the sport. Same area. They always go head to head. And they had semifinal matchups that were both Pittsburgh, Penn Hills, and Pittsburgh won out both in game 3s. They were live streamed. They were quite literally insane.
Yes.
The way they ended was insane.
Yep.
Couple sussies out of that, but we live and learn. But McKeesport Aces, champions of the division. They beat the Northside Renegades in the finals in game 3. Beat them 3-2. It was a great game. Game 1 they lost. I think they lost pretty big. Game 2 they won in overtime, and then game 3 they won in a close one. And their semifinal is where they knocked off the Penn Hills Imperium. So the first time Imperium not only didn't make the Mila Cup, but didn't win the Pittsburgh division. Yeah. And like that series was ridiculous. Game 2 they lost 8-7. Like,
oh, that game was insane.
Game 2 the Aces lost 8-7 in overtime.
Yeah.
8-7 in overtime? Are you kidding me? That doesn't make any sense. But then, like, if you think about it, though, like last year, game 3 of their finals,
That was
when
like the
Showstoppers played the
last
Imperium,
second goal or whatever.
was
or the
7-6.
Cunningham. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cunningham OT.
So they lose game 2 in overtime, and then game 3 was one that we live streamed, and they went up like 5-0 in the first period. They just came to win.
I think I turned it off.
Yeah, it was a blowout.
Yeah.
And then this team, like Jordan, Drew Albright, a lot of people know them in the sport. They are the backbones of this team. Mike Tasso's run it. Those guys are were the leading scorers this year. And a lot of this roster is pretty similar to last year's Showstoppers team that went to the Milek Cup, because the Showstoppers qualified. A lot of players ended up not going, and they filled in with a lot of tier 2 players and free agents, and they pretty much used that team and turned them into the Aces this year. So there's a lot of players are coming back, but this time they are coming back as champions, not as call-ups. So a little bit different dynamic.
Yeah, complete team with a whole season under their belt now.
Yeah, the thing that pisses me off about this team winning is they took Declan from us.
Yeah,
video
that's
guy.
kind of messed up.
Yeah, we're going to have to suspend him for something.
We'll suspend him without pay for one tournament doing video.
No, we're very happy for Declan. He's played great this year and net for them. And
Well, it's nice too because like it's a different weekend than the tier 2 and 3 in the women's championship tournament. So at least we'll have him for that.
Yeah.
He's not missing out on all that content, just the tier 1 of the elite.
yeah, we'll let he's got to focus. So no Declan for all you Declan fans out there, but we got the Aces.
Yep.
So you gotta take one to lose one, or what's the saying?
Gotta crack a few eggs to make
Take
an
one to
omelet.
give
Yeah,
one.
that was exactly what I was trying to
I
say.
could tell.
And then so runner up in Pittsburgh, Northside Renegades, they finished first in the regular season. They led the division with 44 goals. They had the fewest goals against with 26. They had a very slow start to the season. Lost like 4 out of their first 5 games. They were in last place. Like they were way down there. And then they got hot. They won 5 straight. And they've been hot besides losing in the finals, I guess. But they've been, like just one of the best teams in Tier 1.
Just didn't
since then.
expect that they were going to be, probably at the tournament,
No.
let alone the final when you look at it in the beginning. But I mean, just with the names of, Imperium, you kind of expect them to make it back. But
I know they expected to be there.
Yeah.
I was texting their captain Roman after a couple of their first losses. He's like, "Oh no, we're gonna figure this out." And he was right. Hell of a call. Trusted his guys.
It's tough as a new team, getting that chemistry built up at the beginning of the year. I know these guys have played together a lot of the showstoppers, but I'm sure there's new guys thrown into the mix. It's tough for new teams, but 2 technically new teams to come out of Pittsburgh to come to Miley Cup.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of showstoppers on this team, a lot of guys that play together on the Gods, a lot of young talent, like young, national team kids and stuff. So it's a good team. I mean, it's a really good team. They're fired up. A lot of them, it's their first time playing at this, tournament at this level. I'd say every team here, Royals haven't been here before. Night's Watch haven't. And again, Aces and Renegades in name haven't, but some of the players on the Aces have, and a handful of Renegades have. But, a lot of players getting their first time to play with, they've obviously played at, national teams and higher levels. But
this is way, way more pressure. No. But yeah, no, it's cool. I mean, some of them had a taste of it. Some of them, have lost, and some have won. And, little chip on your shoulder going in the tournament can never hurt.
Yeah. They lost a very close final to this Aces team, and I know they're fired up.
Yeah.
Young team, talented team, and Pittsburgh's won 2 out of 3, and they've got, from what I understand, full rosters coming, ready to go. So they're fired up. But Tier 1, 8 squads: 716ers, Royals, Stars, Owls, Night's Watch, Caribou, Aces, Renegades. Should be fun.
Super excited to watch them, and obviously, them alongside the women's elite is going to make for a sick weekend.
Yeah, tune in, live streams. Obviously, we'll have all these games streamed. Memory video productions coming in for the semifinals and the finals of Tier 1. So those will have, the full-blown production, instant replay, graphics, all that sort of stuff. Leading up to that will be a little bit of a different stream, but you'll obviously be able to catch all the action. So Tier 1.
Yeah, it'll be nice. It'll be nice. Like I think I've mentioned it a couple times, the whole rest of the tournament's not happening till the following weekend. So we kind of can really actually watch these games where we really in the past have been busy running around with, doing one thing or another, but we can kind of really focus and watch the Tier 1 and the elite, like the best of the best play. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. It's a fact.
So Tier 1, now we'll women's elite. So quick recap. So 4 teams drafted, players all over the country. Highest level of women's that we have in the NBHL. First weekend was in Maryland, and all the teams either finished 3-2 or 2-3. Offensive standpoint, there's not a single player in women's elite that's averaging a point per game, which I thought was kind of crazy. And so they've played 5 games.
The max was like 4 points or something right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was looking the other night. Yeah.
So they played 5 games already. We've got 3 more on Saturday. That will be the end of their regular season. Then we go to the playoffs on Sunday, which is single loss elimination, semifinals and then finals. So no champions to speak of yet. We can talk about, obviously they're in different rankings, but they're in a much different format than everybody else has. So they have one chance to win, and this is it. So, that first weekend was all about getting to know each other. Now these teams have meshed a little bit. They've learned who's playing with who. Some teams didn't have people show up the first weekend that are coming the second weekend, so some teams are going to look a little differently, but getting into them all. So Angels, Tommy Rupp, their GM, couldn't make it down from Utah, or he's west, we're east. He could not get to the East Coast from the state of Utah.
Okay.
Well done. Well
put. I think that makes the most sense. Could not make it, so we had Mitch Stiles, Mike Malloy, Evan Benedict ran that bench. Mitch and Evan, who are going to also be playing for Night's Watch. Mike Malloy going to be playing for the Caribou at Tier 1. And Evan Benedict's fiance on the Novas.
Couldn't believe it.
Family drama. Yeah. Kind of crazy. We'll see how that plays out. I guess it depends on who wins when they play each other. Yeah. But yeah, this Angels team, they went 2-3. They won their first game 6-0 over the Hyenas. Then they lost to the Orcas twice and the Novas once. They got shut out in all 3 of those games. And then they won their last game against the Novas 4-0. So they've played 5 games. They've only scored in 2. All 5 have been a shutout one way or another. But they lead elite in goals with 10. But they're in 3rd place. But they have the best goal differential at +6. They had a very weird,
Very
That
polarizing
is
team.
crazy, actually.
they could not decide if they were an offensive team, a defensive team, if they wanted to score, they didn't want to score.
I was all in on the Angels too. I kept saying it, but
Are you not anymore?
I don't know.
Did those
I don't
stats
know.
scare you away?
I think Tommy not showing up. I wanted to meet the GM of the team I'm a fan of, but he wasn't even there.
And Tommy's tier 3 team made Jersey.
GT.
Yeah.
So he's got back to
Sin City Biohazard. So he's got back-to-backs. He might be
Yeah, Malloy has no break, huh? He's got a coach or play coach. Yeah. Same with Evan. Yeah.
Yeah, so this team, 2-3. Haley Frade led their team in goals with 3, points with 4. Only player on this team with more than 1 goal. They had, I guess they had 7 other goal scorers and then her. Lindsay Maychak, Erica Moore, Lisa Kilroy, they all had 2 or more points. Maxie Weiss stepped up, played goalie for them. Really, for this team, just comes down to consistency. Can they be consistent one way or another and see if they can pull it all together? But, defensively, they were pretty, I think they let up 4 goals. Like, they were pretty good defensively across the board. They just need to get that offense consistent and see what they can do. But, it's a great squad. They've got multiple, former and current national team players. And, yeah, I think they don't want to go 2-3 again.
Yeah, it's nice they all have the 3 games to kind of get back in the groove with their team and then kind of head into Sunday, ready to go. So, I think it'll take all these teams at least another day to get back where they want to be.
Yeah. So next team, Novas. The Novas went 3-2. Robbie Haliyama. Could be totally wrong saying that, but I said it confident. So Robbie, my bad. You're welcome.
Yeah.
We'll see. Assistant coach Tim Ryan. He didn't do much.
Yeah,
but he was
not much
there.
to say there.
Yeah, he didn't do much of anything.
Another coach who does have a significant other in the league who's actually on the team that he coaches.
Yes,
True.
yes. But yeah, I remember, Robbie, tight dress code, required the khakis on the bench for the coaches. Very professional. So they came out, they lost their first game to the Orcas, and they won 3 straight. Were 3-1. They got shut out in their last game versus the Angels. So they, another one kind of mixed results. They were kind of the opposite results of what the Angels had.
Yeah.
They've got some some gold medalists and, Sarah Hewson, Chelsea Monahan, Jasmine Martinez, and, Gwen Vance. She leads them in points right now with Steph Taylor. And Gwen is playing back-to-back weekends because she's the captain of the South Jersey Lucky Duckies, who qualified for the women's tournament. So we will see how this team adjusts. I know they've got some goalie situation in limbo. It's a little confusing. I don't even know the full details on what's going on with that, but they're figuring out their goalie situation. I'm sure they're going to figure out some line combinations because they've got a lot of talent on this team. They played really well. They also have the best jerseys. Should we say that?
Novas?
Absolutely, yeah. I picked Team Novas based on the logo and jersey combo.
The jerseys are sick. So Novas right now 3-2, second place, and I guess hoping to finish in first. But they looked pretty good on the rink, and their uniforms were sick. Well done, Stribe. Right now, the last place team is the Hyenas, led by Patrick Roy, our Canadian GM.
Yes.
And they're in last place. They're 2-3, but oddly enough, both their wins are against the Orcas, who were in
good
first
teams.
place.
Yeah, I remember watching. They started out really slow, and then I thought they were going to get crushed that last game against the Orcas, and then they brought it back and won in a shootout or overtime.
I believe I think it was a shootout.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I was proud of them, I should say, for fighting back. So
Well, I remember their first game. They had, they were the shortest bench that weekend. I think they had 11, maybe 12 runners. And their first game, they came out and lost 6-0. and
Right.
that was against the Angels. I was like, oh man, like they got to figure some stuff out. But they regrouped, they shift some positions around, got their line combinations down, and they figured it out. Sydney Fioca, she led them in points. She was fantastic. She's one of two players, her and Tori Bratton, who flew in from Texas to play.
I've seen a lot of the Texas footage with Sydney. She has been awesome down there.
Yeah. She didn't play Tier 3 this year. This was her only NBHL was this. And
really? Wow. No wonder I haven't seen anything come out there from her. Usually she's good for like 1 or 2 highlights every year.
Yeah, no, nothing this year. I guess her only highlights were Women's Elite because we posted a couple of her, I think. She played really well. Mackenzie Megan, shout out NBHL stat checker Steph, had the shootout winner versus the Orcas, which I remember watching it. She got the ball and like took off in a dead sprint in the shootout. I was like, oh my God, I try to go like at an elevated pace, but like she was booking it. She made a sick move and scored. I'm like, all right, I'm not questioning her ever again. It was awesome. She was really impressive. She played great. Emily Weber, she was buzzing around out there. She was fast. She's going to be in Jersey as well with the darts, with Hillary Murphy also on the darts, also on the Hyenas. Will be in both weekends for Jersey. And shout out Hillary Murphy's dad.
Oh, yeah.
Just took pictures. Was awesome.
Did we get him?
Yeah, we did. We got him. He sent them to me. He's like, you guys have the rights to use them. Do whatever you need. He was just like...
Yeah, he was the man. He just started taking them. We're like, let's go. But yeah, Hyenas, like I said before, that was, it was good to see him after that 6-0 loss to the Angels, come back and fight and beat the #1 Orcas, the last game of the day on Sunday when we were there in Maryland. So
both games, I think, right? They beat the Orcas twice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, I don't know. I think they'll, it's kind of like a good adversity to go through early on. So, probably bring them together a little bit more and see what kind of damage they do in the NBHL Championships.
Yeah. And they got Zara Tedesco, one of the best defensemen in Pittsburgh, and she's amazing. We just posted her, was it overtime winner? In the semifinals, she had a snipe from the point, but she's on the Riddlers too, so she'll be in Jersey for the women's NBHL championships too. So they've got a few crossovers between Emily Weber, Zara Tedesco, Hillary Murphy, and hopefully we get some more Bobby Murphy at one of these, getting some more photos for us. So
yeah,
that guy was great. So yeah, Hyenas, tough start, but rebounded really well and are
going in the right direction.
Yeah, they've got some key players that were missing. They've got some Canadians that were not there the first weekend, so it'll be interesting to see how they look when they're, in the mix.
Saturday pregame, prelims. Yeah.
And last but certainly not least, the first place Orcas, Paul Paradine, GM, Jason Kelly on the bench. They're very Massachusetts heavy roster, but the team in general has just a lot of just high-end women's national team talent, like very, very good. Definitely in my conversations leading up, people were like, this Orcas team on paper is like, this is the team, to beat right here. And I mean, they're in first place, but they're 3-2. Like they've played very, very well. And, but they've had some tough games. They haven't had any easy wins. And right now they're led offensively, Erica Simpson, shout out Erica, also exceptional ref. She's got 4 points. Sarah Reddington, Bay State Blaze.
Stud defenseman, right?
So TJ, do you remember
that's who we met, right?
That's who we got the noise complaint.
Yeah, we got a noise complaint in the hotel for talking to Sarah.
Yeah, it was like 3 a.m. We're walking back and we're in the elevator and like, we're just like,
She's
hey,
like, who are you? Or something.
She's like, yeah, who are you guys? We're like, oh, we run the NBHL. She's like, oh, cool. Then we started talking, but like, we were not talking quiet. It was loud. And we were out there for a good 20 minutes. And at a certain point, the hotel, we saw the elevator open. And I saw staff walk out. And I'm like,
they got
this
us
is for us.
Yeah.
They're
Good
like,
night.
hey, can you guys stop talking? We're like, okay, yeah, good night.
Yeah.
It was late, so we were like, whatever. But she also had 3 points on the weekend.
Yeah.
So shout out.
I saw her ripping some clappers from the point. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like they've got Becky Dobson. So Becky is playing Tier 2 NBHL Championships with Code Red. Did I say Sarah is playing with the Blaze too? She's playing Blaze. They've got some studs like Cherie Stewart, who has been on multiple national teams. They got Brooke Willeko, God, I hope I'm saying that right.
Sounded right.
It felt right.
Yeah.
It did feel right. But is it?
Waleko.
Brooke W.
Yeah.
I think I shouldn't have even tried. Shit.
Yeah. Orcas, Brooke, you guys can yell at me if I got that wrong. So this team, they've got 4 players from the New England Nightmares who won women's tier last year. Their captain, Lenny Marinelli, Britt King, first ever goal in women's elite. Lauren Gifford, who had the who played for our Chicklets Cup team, women's team that won it. And then Katie Gardner, who I believe scored the first goal for the Nightmares in the championship. So they've got some pedigree.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Orcas first place. Orcas, Hyenas, Novas, Angels. First women's elite.
It's
can't
going
wait
to
to
be
see what
crazy.
happens.
And honestly, like, just one thing I took away from that weekend was all the goalies were really good. Like, I don't know, just the way they are in net, they just look like they know what the heck they're doing. And, like, I don't know, they just look professional to me. And the talent showed as well. And I'm just excited to see them in action.
Yeah, so it doesn't surprise me when you said that no one's
Right.
over a point per game. It's because how are you going to score more than a
Right.
point per game against these goalies? Like, it's just hard to do.
Just national team goalie after national team.
Yeah, well, especially with only 4 teams in the division,
Yeah.
of course you're going to have just the highest end goalie talent that you can get. It's just hard to get past it.
Yeah. How will they perform in Buffalo? We will see.
We will. We will definitely see.
All right, and now for some of the questions you guys submitted on Instagram in the middle of this episode. We got live questions in. Thank you to our live audience. Listen. Just kidding, not a live audience, but you did submit them during this time. First one is from Ty Magazoo, our producer. How am I doing? Be honest unless it's bad news.
The only live audience here. Do we want to tell them?
Yeah, all right. Next question, Teach.
Next question.
Yeah.
Will the Tier 2/3 championship games move next season? I think he means the tournament, but yeah.
Are we sure he means the tournament? Does he mean like maybe the rink is going to
The
spin
rink.
while they play?
No, I don't know. From Andrew Mati, 17.
I would say no to the rink spinning. I would say probably not to moving the
Unless
tournament.
you find a very big complex
Yeah, if you find us a 3-ring complex, 4-ring complex,
or build one,
yeah.
we're more than happy.
Yeah. So I'd say right now the plan is to keep it in Jersey, but
Yeah.
things
Never know.
change.
Yeah.
You never know.
Any chance of more crossover games between divisions?
I think we've answered this question before, and it was right after the crossover games, and I said absolutely not. I'm never doing them again. I hate them.
The time heals.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, thinking about it now, it wasn't
Yeah.
that bad, and it was really cool to see the crossover. I think it depends on if the schedules can work out for it, because the only reason we really did them with Philly and New Jersey is because New Jersey had 10 teams and Philly had 5 teams. So it like really perfectly balanced both division schedules. So I think if we have another opportunity like that where both divisions have a balanced schedule that are in a reasonable distance from each other,
Right.
that want to do it,
Yeah.
those all have to come together again. But we have a lot of divisions in a lot of places. Surely somewhere out there's going to be somewhere that
Bound to
is going to
happen,
want to
probably,
do
yeah.
that.
I'd like to get Maryland Tier 3 playing in the Pacific Northwest if we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Just
reasonable.
Those guys seem down for it.
No, they would love it out there. They would love it. It's so nice.
All right. Next question is from Mick Mike 10. Would you guys ever do an all-star game for each tier during NBHL week? I didn't know we had an NBHL week. But
Mike, tell us about NBHL week. 'Cause I'd
kinda
love to
like
know
that,
more
yeah.
about it.
just a week of NBHL? It would be so fun.
I don't think a week's enough. I think we need an NBHL month.
Yeah, that would be sick. But I mean, an all-star game, if NBHL Championships
Yeah.
would be really cool. We just don't have rink time to do it.
Yeah.
I guess we could probably do it on the middle rink Sunday this year.
Yeah.
We can do at least the hardest shot. Well, I was thinking we'd bring the hardest shot to both Buffalo and Jersey
Yeah.
and just have that on the middle rink, and whoever wins
I just
gets
feel like-
something cool.
I mean, I don't know, but I feel like if you're not playing in that tournament, you're probably not going to travel, for the all-star
Yeah,
game,
yeah.
so it would have to be amongst the players at the tournament, most likely.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be an all-star game. I think maybe we could do a skills thing.
Yeah.
Just we don't want to tire people.
Or it's
out.
like
It'd be-
or maybe we add Thursday and we do media day and then we do a skills and all-star game.
that's a big time move right there.
Dreams. But yeah, we've thought about it, but it's hard.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Maybe
but
at the divisional level, like mid-season or end of season, all-star teams? No?
Now, people have always said like, hey, like they want to do like a New Jersey like all-star
Yeah,
game,
just tier 1 New Jersey all-star game.
But I just,
Yeah.
I mean, like we finished our season. We just finished our season Sunday. The week before, Sunday before recording this, and now we have 2 weeks till the next Smiley Cup. Like, when am I gonna do it? And then we go like we lose a lot of our rank time when the youth season starts here in New Jersey. So there's really just not a great time, and also I just personally am gassed at the end of the season. To organize and put together an all-star game is a lot, but it would be sick.
Yeah, would be sick.
But,
all right, that does it for our questions. Thanks for submitting them. That wraps up this episode of Commish Chat. Make sure to follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And we'll see you on the next one where we preview the NBHL Championships Tier 2, 3, and Women's Tier.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for watching. See y'all in Buffalo.